All right, guys. Section 4 is up. And so, Section 4, let's talk about this a little bit here. A couple terms for you. Conservation, fairly common term, and preservation, which is also a pretty common term. But it's important to know how these terms apply specifically when we're talking about managing of ecosystems. Conservation is about using the nature in a way that's proper and appropriate. So it regulates human use of the specific resources. Prevention is about full-on protection of the use. So it's about removing human use from it. So conservation is about regulating, and preservation is about avoiding human use. And so national parks were established a long time ago, and their goal is right here listed for us. A reserve of land, usually but not always, declared and owned by the national government and protected from most human development and pollution. So that's what a national park's there for, is to greatly limit human activity. In some cases, conservation, in some cases, prevention. And countries around the world now have established national parks. 1,100 of them have been established. The first one was Yellowstone, of course, but we've established many, many since then. But even with that, tons of them are still under threat by human activity. Why? Because people invade for lots of different reasons. Woods, cropland, and natural resources. Logging and mining is depleting those resources. The chunk of swath of land that makes them up is too small often, and it can't maintain healthy populations of organisms. And then, of course, invasive species play an important role in messing with ecosystems as well. So national parks are important, but most of them are in trouble. In the United States, there's 58 of these bad boys, okay? There's 58 major national parks and a bunch of small ones, but these are the 50 major ones in the United States. Or in Wyoming, we have Yellowstone, of course. And they're in trouble for lots of reasons, but overuse. They're really popular, and so a lot of people want to go visit them. Problem when they go to visit them is people don't treat things well all the time. They leave litter. They trample across things that shouldn't be trampled. They have off-road stuff, all kinds of things. So here's pictures of garbage left behind. And you'll see that if you go to Yellowstone. Here's off-road vehicles driven right through the middle, causing erosion and other problems. And then in addition to that, a lot of the species there are isolated and fragmented within very small ecosystems, which are not natural for them to exist in. And so that's hard on them as well. And then even if you completely protected this area, we have air pollution and stuff from outside the park that then is affecting the park's ecosystems. Another term for you, natural reserves or preserves. And this is what we're implying with preservation. We're trying to completely protect this area. It's super important for wildlife, for geology, and maybe even other interests. And so we're managing those for conservation, and so we really limit traffic into these. And so sometimes it's private ownership, sometimes it's charities, sometimes it's research institutes, and oftentimes the government is creating these kind of situations. So how much protected land do we have when we talk about national parks and reserves and things? Well, only about 12% of the Earth's land is protected. And only 5% of it is really strictly protected to a point where there's not harmful activities from humans in it. And most conservation biologists believe that we need to really take care of a lot more. There should be protection of up to 20% of the Earth's land area if we wanted to kind of make sure that we had a healthy situation. So we're at 5. Most scientists think we should be at 20. So we're only a fourth of the way there. Another term for you, we have one of these right out our back door, right? The wilderness area. What is a wilderness area? Well, it's land legally set aside in a large enough area to prevent or minimize human activities. So it has to be a huge swath of land, and it's really limited in access. And Cloud Peak's an example of that. So a very small portion of land in the United States is wilderness area and protected as wilderness area. This was established in 1964. The Wilderness Act was established, and it established a protection for 9.1 million acres. And so it's a good start, but there's an ever-increasing number of this. We're trying to create more and more wilderness around the United States, and people are trying to get involved with that. So that's Section 4. Moving on, we'll see Section 5 in a bit.